And so the lie of being useless, being worthless, still creeps in sometimes right now. So what I'm currently struggling with is low self-worth, depression, eating disorders, suicidal thoughts, and self-harm. And I share this because I want everyone to know and not to lose hope that whatever they're struggling with, it doesn't mean that you're less human, you're less of a Christian, that God is somehow not able or loves you less or is weak. Hi guys, welcome back to season 2 of Unspoken with Aggie Park. I pray that season 1 has been encouraging, edifying, strengthening your walk with the Lord, and also to give you hope, tools, and resources towards your own freedom, healing, and victory. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about the heart for season 2. So the Lord has gently nudged me to go a little bit in a different direction. He has nudged me to be more honest with the current struggles that I am still facing. Yes, you still can have struggles even when you have Jesus and are doing therapy. And the reason behind this is that I feel there are not a lot of stories of struggles. We hear a lot of stories of victories, right? And when we hear those stories of victories, it seems like, but those are for those people, like somehow, why can't I attain that victory and be there already? So it's easy to lose hope and to lose courage in our own healing process. So for season 2, the Lord has nudged me to not only bring guests that have overcome their struggles, but who are still in the journey of the struggle towards the mountaintop of their victory, if that makes sense. And for season 2 specifically, he wants me to share what I'm currently facing, what I'm currently struggling with. So if you haven't listened to the first episode of Unspoken with Aggie Park, the very first episode where I shared my testimony, allow me to give you a brief summary so you understand the heart behind season 2. So I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. I didn't get to see my dad until I was 6 or 7 years old for the first time. And during my early childhood years and into early adulthood years too, I faced a lot of emotional and physical abuse from my mom. Our mom abandoned us when I was 15 and my sister was just 5. And I practically had to raise her when she was 5. I moved from Indonesia to the United States for college at the age of 17 by myself with no guidance, with no plan. It was crazy. Okay. I basically jumped on the plane and just trusted God. And he came through like he always did, because 3 days before school started, he provided me with a place where the landlord was either pastor or an elder, and he prayed over me. He brought me to church. He plugged me into community where brothers and sisters loved me as their own family. But in the midst of that, in the midst of God rewriting my story, there's still pain and healing process that needs to take place. I was still involved in many toxic relationships that treated me like I was nothing, and deepening that lie of me being unwanted, unloved, useless, worthless from childhood, plus that toxic relationships, plus when I was moving to Indonesia, from Indonesia to Germany, when I was 7, I was made fun of how I looked, how I spoke. So I think almost every year of my life, I felt like something's wrong with me. Like I wasn't enough. I just needed to be more this, more that, And so the lie of being useless, being worthless still creeps in sometimes right now. So what I'm currently struggling with is low self-worth, depression, eating disorders, suicidal thoughts, and self-harm. And I share this because I want everyone to know and not to lose hope that whatever they're struggling with, it doesn't mean that you're less human, you're less of a Christian, that God is somehow not able or loves you less or is weak. No, like He is more than able to do anything. There's nothing too hard for the Lord. But it just reminds me of Paul when he asked the Lord to remove the thorn, right? 3 times, but the Lord said, "My grace is sufficient for you." So I don't know if the Lord, some of it He has healed me from, praise the Lord, but some of it still lingers because it's so deep, right? And I don't know if He's going to heal those pain and the effects of those traumas in this lifetime. I know He's going to heal us completely, perfectly in heaven. But for this lifetime, maybe it takes 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25. Maybe we will never get healed from that depression or that whatever we're struggling with. But I just want you to be encouraged that the Lord is always good. He's always kind. He's always perfect, and He's always faithful in all His ways. So I pray that by me being more open with the current struggles, yes, even with Jesus and therapy, that others will also start to be honest and vulnerable and open, not just with themselves, but also with others. Because if we can't be honest with each other and with ourselves, how can true healing begin, right? So for season 2, I don't know exactly how it's going to look like, but I trust the Lord. I trust that He will provide me the right people at the right timing. I trust every step of the process because He's been so faithful for all my years that I know He's going to be faithful again and again and again because He is faithful, and it does not depend on my faithfulness. Thank the Lord. So Unspoken has been blessed with many powerful stories that we can release each episode weekly. But for this season 2, I don't know how it looks like. We might get fewer people who are willing to be open and honest. And so we might release episode every 2 weeks, every month, every other month, or maybe people are just storming to share their stories and we can share 2 or 3 episodes a week. I don't know anything, but I know that the Lord will provide and that His timing, His process, the stories will be perfect according to His perfect will. So I pray that this season 2 will be even more encouraging, will be even more raw, real, honest, and redeemed. And it will give you even more courage and hope to know that you are not alone and that whatever you're going through, you can always reach out to us. You can find us on Instagram at _spoken_pod, and you can message me there. And the guests usually share their contact information, so you can reach out to them too. We're not in this alone. God does not made us to be alone. That is what the enemy wants for us to be alone in our thoughts, right? But we're meant to be in community. That's where true healing and true restoration truly begins, with God, but also with His people. So thank you for hanging out for season 1. I pray that we can continue this journey together and that we are growing together in constant awe and wonder of how powerful, how faithful, how true, and how kind our Jesus is.